Hey everyone, it's me, Lauren Cadillac. I am here today to talk with you the incredibly exciting issue of community property in Texas. Now, as always, nothing I say here creates an attorney-client relationship, and none of this is legal advice. I'm just telling you what I've learned over many years. Texas is one of 7 community property states in the United States of America. Where community property means something to people is when they're married. The community that we're talking about in community property is the marriage, 2 people that are married. And in the state of Texas, once you become married, everything you earn, everything you acquire, everything you do is community. So if I get married, we buy a house, that house is owned by the community. It's owned by the 2 of us, it's both of ours. If we got married, we bought a house, but it was only in his name, I don't know, credit reason or whatever, mortgage only in his name. As long as we're married, it's still half mine, right? It's a community property state. Where community property becomes confusing, so to speak, here in Texas, is really related to separate property. So separate property is anything that you owned prior to the marriage, and it's anything that you receive as a bequest or a gift, an inheritance during the marriage. So I personally own a home. If I become married, I keep my home, that is my separate property. We buy a house together, that becomes our community property. If my parents passed away and I inherited their home, that is my separate property. It's an inheritance. So it would not go into the community that I share with my husband. It remains my ownership separate. Now, I'm not going to get into it in this video because it is pretty complicated, but there is a way to mess up the community property, so to speak, or convert separate property into community property by using community funds to take care of separate property. So if you are someone who owns a home prior to the marriage and you're wanting to keep that separate, then you want to make sure any rent or anything like that goes into your own personal account, not into a community account, so that it remains separate even though you are technically married and technically there is a community. In terms of separate property, when your spouse passes away, you do not inherit their separate property. You inherit a life estate in that property. That means that you have use for the property to an extent. You have a certain percentage of an estate that will last for your lifetime. But your children, if they're not the children of the person who's passed away, will not receive any benefit from that property either. So we have a lot of people who call and their husbands passed away. Maybe he owned a house before they got married, and then they're surprised to find out that his kids are inheriting the house and not you. Or maybe it's a house your husband inherited from his mother or sister, and I have a lot of folks very surprised to find out they are not actually going to be inheriting that, because that is not community property, it is separate property. So, exciting topic. There's a lot more to talk about. I don't want to bore you. This is an overview, and I hope it helps give you an understanding of Texas community property and your own family situation. As always, if you're looking for legal counsel, please give us a call at 972-845-1200, and thank you.